the signature paddle of top pro pickleball player Simone Jardim. The Hyperion CFS 16 is loaded with technologies. A hyperfoam edge wall adds weight and stability, while the arrow curve head shape increases maneuverability, and a CX forged handle provides maximum comfort. The paddle features an average weight of 8.4 ounces for the standard and 7.9 ounces for the Swift, and is built with a reactive polymer honeycomb core and a carbon friction hitting surface. I was really excited to play test these signature paddles as I got to hit with JOOLA paddles when they first launched, so I was excited to get a nice deep dive. And the first thing I noticed when I hit the court was the solid and stable feel, no matter what shot I was hitting, whether I was hitting a serve or a ground stroke or even a dipping ball. I also really liked the forgiving feel. No matter where I hit the ball on the hitting surface, I thought I had a really nice consistent response, and I also found it to be very comfortable. I didn't feel any vibrations or anything, even when I was hitting a little bit off center. In terms of spin potential, it has a nice gritty surface, and I thought I had good spin potential, but as the playtest wore on, I did notice a little bit of that surface wearing down, but I didn't notice that creating spin at all. Between the two models, the Swift and the Standard, I actually was leaning towards the Swift as my favorite of the two. I thought it was a little bit more maneuverable and just gave me a little bit quicker reaction time, whereas the Standard version just felt a tiny bit sluggish to me. Overall, I thought both of these paddles were high performance paddles, great for players looking to improve their game.
When I first picked up these paddles, the first thing I noticed was how well built and high quality they felt. These definitely feel like premium paddles. Now, once I got them on court and I was hitting them side by side, there was definitely one that I favored over the other. I'll start with the Standard. This is definitely the heaviest paddle I've tested so far. And because of that, I was definitely getting a lot of power on my ground strokes, and the sweet spot felt really big and forgiving. I definitely felt like I could drive shots like the third ball. But I also was hitting the ball long a little bit because of that weight, especially on my backhand slice. It felt like it was floating a bit on me. And up at net, I felt like the ball was, I was a little bit sluggish with the paddle. It was a little bit tough on those quick volley exchanges, which is why when I switched over to the Swift, I immediately felt way more at home with it. It's about 0.5 ounces lighter, and it definitely is true to its name. It feels more whippy, more maneuverable, which is something I really look for in a paddle versus just all-out power. I thought both paddles offered great feel and tons of spin due to that carbon friction surface. Overall, even though that Swift is a little bit less powerful and a little bit less forgiving, it's definitely my paddle of the choice of the two.
I was really excited to know that I was going to be on the review for these paddles. There's been a ton of hype behind this line, and I wanted to get my hands on them to see what it was all about. And I must say, after some good amount of play, that they did not disappoint. A couple things I noticed at first play is both paddles offered a really balanced feel. So the weight seemed really evenly distributed. It didn't seem top heavy, didn't seem handle heavy, so allowed for some comfort during play. I also really love a solid handle. It allows for a premium feel and a lot of stability while playing. I first took the Swift on the court. At first play, it felt really quick, really nimble, allowed for some really fast play. I did have a hard time adjusting with power. I was having a hard time hitting some deeper serves and some deeper returns. And it just took a little bit of an adjustment there, while the Standard model offered a lot of power and pop right off the start. At the kitchen line, though, I was having a bit of a hard time getting those dialed in, but after some adjustments at the kitchen, I was able to find my rhythm. Overall, really tough choice between the two paddles. One offered the power that I liked, one offered a little more touch that I liked, but I'd go with the Swift. The Standard model had just a bit too much power for me, not enough consistency with some of my shots, where the Swift offered a really light, fast feel to it, offered a little more control that better suited my game.
I've hit with a lot of JOOLA paddles now, and I think I found my favorite of the bunch. The Swift is in line more spec-wise with what I normally hit with, so I found that there wasn't really an adjustment period for me. I was able to get right into the groove. I got plenty of spin out of these paddles, though I did notice a bit of wear on the surface due to all the hitting, probably about 30 hours or more. But I have to say that I was still generating all the spin that I needed regardless of that, so I can't really say there's an issue there. Both paddles are built similarly, but I noticed quite a difference while playing. Comparing the two, I prefer the Swift over the Standard version. At 7.8 ounces, it has the control that I need to ensure that my shots are going where I want them to, but there still was a good amount of power there. Though the Standard we hit with was 0.2 ounces heavier, it was noticeably less control-oriented. However JOOLA has constructed these paddles, it was definitely affecting my play. Overall, JOOLA has done a really great job with the Swift. If you're an above-average player, you're going to find a lot of success with these paddles. If you're like me, an average player, you're going to be just as happy with a JOOLA Vision CGS 16.
For more information on the Hyperion paddles or the rest of the JOOLA line, head to totalpickleball.com.